Welcome to the one part of the video that's not a giant spoiler, because it's actually a giant spoiler from the previous video.
Homie, that's a giant tree.
Well, yeah, the spoiler's inside. We're gonna have to kill the tree.
But it looks so sad. It's basically pleading with you not to.
Also, C. Jacobs is back with us. We are finally reunited for the last video.
Hey,
Last video in this saga.
After being ground to a fine powder by the wheels of capitalism, Roy and Englishman swept me into a dustpan and put me into a portable container. Now I am in the penitent one's inventory. Hi.
So how does it feel to finally be in playthrough number 3?
Awesome, actually. I am excited because I can feel the knowledge budding on the wrinkles of my brain. Maybe that's not a good thing.
Yeah, we now know that Blasphemous and Bloodstained are technically in the same universe, possibly.
And also that no one in this universe is truly free of sin. Even Chrysanta is a thief.
Well, she literally has, well, not literally, but metaphorically has horse blinders.
That's fine. We do too. We chose to. That's our mission, is to maintain the horse blinders as long as we can.
Yeah, and so our goal now is we're going to fight Chrysanta again, and this time remove the horse blinders.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Actually, it would probably be a good idea for me to title this last video Horse Blinders, since my design for the thumbnail already has a puppy on it, just to complete the animal motif.
You know, puppies and horses are quite similar. Goodness.
True.
It's got the ability to fulfill its true purpose. It doesn't have the ability to describe its true purpose to us, though.
It does not yet have its big boy words.
That's the thing, is that they're still holding back mysteries, even to the last possible moment. On the third playthrough of the game, this game has layers and layers of story.
So at the end of the previous video, I believe I mentioned that it's a double-edged sword using the apathetic heart of the mea culpa that the fourth visage has just given us. And the main reason for that is because, well, using that heart is what officially locks you into the end game for the true the true ending from this DLC. And what that means is that once you equip the apathetic heart, you can no longer equip any other hearts until you finish that playthrough.
Oh.
So it's stuck.
So like the Brilliant Heart of Dawn, which we made use of quite a bit during the Bloodstained DLC, we can't use that anymore. We can't use any of the others. We're stuck with the apathetic heart. It's super glued on.
That thing ain't coming out. It's pretty good that they don't just warn you, they also have the confirmation prompt fade in after a second to make sure your ass reads it.
All that's missing is like changing the confirm from press to hold the button for 5 seconds.
Ooh.
In a way, it's almost like the High Wills themselves delivered us that prompt. Are you sure you wish to know more? And we were like, yes, I want to know more. God, I want to know more. It's been 23 parts of this LP. I have to know. I have to know about, like, the living bovine inside UFOs that are the High Wills. We could start openly speculating now on the High Wills' existence.
Service guarantees citizenship. Would you like to know more?
I think we've earned our citizenship in Custodia by this point. We're the only person left alive in it. Other than that guy that was playing for Soccer Girl.
Everything's rent controlled.
So as we go into Chrysanta's boss fight here, this is a weird quirk with the Cantina of the Blue Rose that we got from Miriam, which is that because it stays out indefinitely, that includes going into boss fight cutscenes. So it essentially means that we have a free partner going in, and I also have the fervor rosary that replicates the fervor regeneration from our previous playthrough. So we can sit here and listen to Chrysanta talk while our magic bar goes up, and the cantina will still be around through that whole time.
Disco Elysium style.
Interesting.
Time still passes while you're having a conversation, so make sure to stall. I like that tactic.
Funny enough, the cantina is actually really bad to use against Chrysanta, so I just intentionally handicapped myself just to show that glitch off.
No, it's fine because it reminds me of old school video games even still. It's like you're charging up your Mega Buster before you go in to fight Dr. Airwoman.
I don't remember, did I actually say like what triggers Miriam to come out of the portal specifically? Because you can like hold on to her for a while. But I think it's like the first time you actually make contact with an enemy, that's what starts the animation.
Ah.
You gotta shoulder tackle her. Helmet to helmet combat. This is what I've been waiting for, is for this lady to finally tell you her deal instead of, throwing down a ninja smoke bomb on you.
It's not necessarily about her telling us our deal. It's about her realizing what the deal actually is.
It's like a Groundhog Day type of situation. We will kick Chrysanta's ass as many times as it takes for her to realize that everyone here is the bad guy. Everyone.
Now, you can parry Chrysanta's diagonal attacks, but I would not recommend it unless you have the timing down to slide back into the fight and close the gap a bit further, because otherwise you're put in a pretty bad position.
This is probably one of my favorite fights in the game.
Oh,
It was to do, because I've played it now, and it was to also, like, thematically see the idea of, like, can you beat someone with very similar moves to you? And the answer is, with effort.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what if Ridley played like Virgil.
Esa espada que portáis. Las altas voluntades cantan que rehuye el peso de su acero, pues la herejía de su portador lo embadurna por completo. Las grandes, desde las procesiones eternas, claman que luche hasta mi último estertor. Las tres. Las altas voces sentencian que vuestra ejecución no puede ser postergada. Temo, pues, mi penitencia aún no ha acabado.
Welcome to Phase 2. This is where Chrysanta gets absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, hell yeah! Hell yeah! I love that justification. God told me to kill you. In fact, 3 of God told me to kill you.
Yeah, like the word triune in Catholic in Catholic vocabulary refers specifically to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That is not the case in Blasphemous, obviously. We may just be finding out what that's all about later in the video.
I get it now. This is a territorial dispute between gods. It's like if God fought Buddha, like all that fan art I've seen on DeviantArt over the years.
So it's basically what the God of War universe turned into.
Yeah.
Once it started going with multiple mythologies.
Yeah, like the high wills themselves are in fact multiple, like the name implies, because they all have a different idea of what it means to be miraculous. And then there's this one dude, Steve, who thinks like blood and pain is normal, and it's like, God, you really just ruined everything. Damn it, Steve!
Uh-oh, I think I may have left in a... no, wait, I did not leave this in by accident. It's been a while since I'm not entirely sure what that editing choice was. I made this about 2 months ago. I don't remember now, but...
I'm gonna say that having been with you for 20 plus videos now, ambiguously, there is a high chance you did it just to show off how much this boss kicks ass.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with that.
This
It
is
says-
She
impressive.
does. She kicks ass, specifically the penitent ones. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is. As you can see, like, again, I'm playing with mostly defensive rosaries equipped, and all upgrades at max. And I mean, the apathetic heart doesn't actually change your values anymore. It is effectively a story trigger. So it's not like the mea culpa suddenly becomes stronger after equipping the apathetic heart.
She just got angrier this time around.
Yeah. I would say like the worst of her attacks is probably like that 1-2 combo she does, especially because the wind up on the second hit it's timed in such a way that you need to be extremely precise, and it will catch you off guard if you miss time the first one.
It seems like a classic, almost Nintendo hard boss where you've got
Yes.
one chance to hit her, and if you fuck it up, you get hit instead.
Oh yeah.
I believe in our chat server you said that this took you 800 tries?
No, it's more than 100 certainly. It took me many hours.
That's still more than I thought. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
she deserves this walloping then. Damn. Way to go.
Purgad mi alma mordida por el
Now that we have the apathetic heart equipped, we can see that it perhaps is not just symbolic chains holding her religious beliefs, but literal chains.
Wow.
Now that's enlightenment.
Este dolor que siento es más profundo, más antiguo. La culpa que cargáis ha quebrado algo en mí. Mi fe
Specifically by armor, after you swung at it many, many, many times.
marchó
Thoroughly
por el
dented
lugar
that
donde empezó todo.
tinfoil. What's she wearing?
It is the strongest tinfoil in all of Custodia.
Vuestro primer paso hacia la expiación. Ahora dejadme sola con mi profunda herida.
It turns out I just gained a new magic called humility. I wonder how much mana it cost her to cast that.
Enough to physically exhaust her, it seems.
Hey, look at that. That's one person that you fought in the entire game that didn't explode into fire and blood. One.
True.
Way to go, dude.
Now, I forget if we actually have to go back. We are going back to the... Oh, by the way.
Lo que buscáis está al final de estas largas escaleras. Mucho que aquello que se proclamaba la verdad
I decided to show this off because before we had seen the middle-aged version of this character. Why? I should remember her name, but I don't.
Viridiana. I won't forget it.
And they did record 3 different versions of this speech, one for each of her ages.
Such an awesome character. Probably one of my favorite characters in this game. I like that she's one of the last people you talk to. That's your real reward.
Yeah, so we're going back to the church where we met up with Esdras, which I've since learned is actually called the Church of Guilt, because of course it is.
I was gonna say, for this universe, it couldn't be called anything else. Oh.
Algo ha cambiado en ella. Algo insondable que se escapa a mi juicio.
It actually is. You know what? It's pretty appropriate that this woman would come here to make the sword in the Church of Guilt. That's good forethought on her part.
And I mean, also remember in the formerly canon good ending, she was the one who retrieved mea culpa from the the penitent one's body. So she already has a connection to this place.
Sois los que pueden poner fin al ciclo eterno. por el cual caminamos bajo atardeceres sin
It's not a loop, penitent one. It's a spiral.
penitencia, algo más allá de la madre iglesia.
It's not a lake, it's an ocean.
Más allá de
Finally, another fictional character that wants to shoot Alan Wake in the head. There weren't enough of those already.
Right.
I knew the Penitent one had tie-ins to other indie games, but Remedy?
The Remedy verse is complicated.
En la vía de las procesiones eternas.
We did have to play this game 3 times to get the true ending.
I know that there were a couple people in the thread as well as the comments who were kind of wishing that instead of Bloodstained, that the crossover DLC was Guacamelee.
Oh my god, I was hoping for it.
I bet with that helmet he could do a good spear tackle.
Más allá del sueño. Realizad vuestra última penitencia y llevad vuestros pasos al trono girado. Las
God.
procesiones eternas nos esperan al otro lado.
You're going to heaven! Have a nice trip! Pack your bags!
Ahora
What if he's like, I've already been. It was this ugly salt flat. There weren't any, like, gift shops. All I got was this lousy t-shirt from some guy who talked about his feet.
Yeah, I mean, Dios Gracias was pretty cool. I mean, that's something good about heaven, I guess.
That's true. This got eldritch very fast. I guess I was right. The high wills are a literal thing that exists elsewhere in reality.
Yeah, I can now say without spoiling it, the high wills actually are a thing.
That's kind of fucking nuts. That's a hell of a reveal.
I have been dancing around that for 22 fucking videos now. It's good I can actually say it out loud.
I like that in the end, it was like a Groundhog Day thing, where the one person we thought was unimportant was the one to deliver the actual pivotal dialogue to end it all. Thanks, Crisanta.
En mi sueño quise hablaros y presentarme. Guasonas.
At some point, I just realized we've seen all this before. So fast forwarding to the last part we had seen previously, which is the end of this particular phase.
Yeah, for those of you just joining us, he basically said, "Be gone, you living sentient Dorito." I like the outfit you've got going on here. I don't know. The burnished suit.
I can't remember which specific aspect that is. The costumes are called aspects.
Yeah, it's the aspect of orange because you just cheesed that boss. He's like, I can do this as many times as you can, bitch.
So the main change is going to happen once we climb the Mountain of Ash to the Turned Throne. That is when the DLC ending mode switches into gear, and we actually get the proper final boss. In hindsight, I realized that equipping Tiento was actually, for reasons that we'll see later, it was a very silly thing to do.
All right. Third time's the charm, he says, approaching the hill. He's like, I have learned to walk as light as a feather, put my socks over my shoes, I took off all my heaviest clothes. That jacket from my grandma, I left it on the coat rack outside.
I basically have to make myself as light as possible in order to balance out the extremely heavy weight of my soul from all of the guilt from literally everyone in Custodia.
I would say that there was another guy that you can look to for inspiration in some mythologies who absorbed the sin of all mankind, and that guy was able to climb up pretty high. But he had help.
There's also the scapegoat in Jewish folklore. That is the origin of the phrase scapegoat in the days of the tabernacle of the Mishkan. Part of the ritual between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur was that you would metaphorically take all of your guilt and put it onto a goat, which would not be sacrificed. It would roam around elsewhere. That has since been replaced by what's called tashlich, where you take bits of bread and throw them into a river, and that symbolizes not necessarily the responsibility of your sins, but it's more like the emotional burden and the weight of having to deal with them. That you become a better person by facing the weight of your sin, but not letting it bury you in guilt and mental health problems.
I've got good news. We were able to rise above not just our guilt, but everyone's guilt this time. He's like, what the hell? There were platforms up here? This whole time there were platforms?
There's a lot of weird things going on with this section. One of them is this guy.
Oh my god, it's the final boss of Mega Man Zero.
What is this?
X-Men, welcome to die!
Yeah,
That's all I can see here.
this is the final form of Escobar that we saw briefly when we killed the final boss in playthrough number 2, and just now, a couple minutes ago.
Que templa nuestras heridas y los vastos horizontes que se extienden sin final. El camino de caminos ha terminado y con él vuestra penitencia.
I got very bored sitting here playing 2 simultaneous games of rock, paper, scissors with myself.
I always win in the end!
What is my 5th arm supposed to do?
That's another him crawling out. We saw what happened to that side character. That 5th arm is a beverage holder. That's the purpose it serves right now.
So here's the really weird thing about this boss.
So you beefed it, homie.
Well, okay, because the way that the checkpoint
Hang on a minute.
system...
Were you just rescued by Lakitu?
Yeah, Chrysanta. But yes, Chrysanta acting as Lakitu. So the way that this game's checkpoint system works, the latest possible save you can have is right before the first fight with Escobar, which means that technically you can't die during this sequence. It just resets you to the beginning of the fight.
Huh.
You also can't pause at all, which kind of sucks.
That's fine.
Interesting.
At this point, the player is probably locked in and not going to quit. They're like, you know what? I don't want to see where it goes from here till tomorrow. I gotta go feed my cat because it's sitting on my audio mixer. Yo!
Chrysanta to the rescue. Her redemption arc is complete.
I like that she had like a specific call out. I like that she specifically called out like her move like a Pokemon character before she raised her shield. Yeah! This game being in Spanish is it all is paying off now. Having characters like shout things at each other like a telenovela.
And yes,
Boy,
that
this
is
goes on
a
forever.
one-hit kill if you do not get behind Chrysanta there.
Oh, okay. I didn't assume that. That's punishing. But thematic.
Seeing as you can't really, I mean, you could die, but you can't really get a game over during this scene. So this boss is more of a test of endurance than it is of skill.
I guess that's fair. He really is now saying, I can do this all day.
Yeah. You also can't use, because you can't pause, you also can't use any of your prayers, which is why I mentioned I didn't really know, like, mechanically what this boss fight would be like going in, so again, equipping the Tiento in hindsight was pretty stupid.
Gotta have faith in your rosary, I guess.
Se irán todos aquellos que me amaron. Ahora me hundiré aquí, en esta tierra de nubes, polvo y destellos.
Oh!
Nice. I've got a purpose for him. Now he can hang up in the local science museum and serve as an anatomical representation of the human body for people to admire. He's even like 30 feet tall, so like it's like a big, important display.
Sorry, fellas, but this is what the Sigma male looks like.
This is what the Blasphemous Soma male looks like.
Avanzad ahora por los mantos bordados hacia la luz.
What if he said one thing here? What would it be, do you think? If the penitent one were to speak. Do you think he would say, like, blasphemia balls? Oh my god.
Say hello to the High Wills.
Hi, Wills!
Que venís ante nuestras presencias.
Que traéis las culpas al más sagrado de los lugares, al más prohibido de los templos.
You caught us at a bad time. We've got some serious seasonal allergies.
So that's what the liquid gold is. They've all got pink eye. Gross.
Las voluntades.
Pues no hay milagro alguno que no provenga de nuestro deseo.
Que no sea nuestro reflejo.
Man, that doesn't speak well for them, does it? If what happens down there is a reflection of them.
Hizo carne primero y santidad después.
Penitente, ¿no hiere a vuestros ojos la pálida luz inmóvil de este vasto horizonte?
If so, please use the Eye Saver mode on your monitor.
Más antigua que nosotros, que sin finales ni principios se prolonga.
That's actually why we're wearing the orange clothing, is so that we have one of those incandescent bulbs turned on.
Cuya condena y bendición a sí misma te tienen. Esta es la vía de las procesiones antiguas. El reino que el milagro tejió con hilos de sueño.
Specifically the fucked up ones, though. Not any nice dreams. We ignored those ones.
Ininterrumpida.
Que nos daría la luz y el tiempo.
Que haría que permaneciéramos eternas. Más altas que el propio cielo.
So you were speculating earlier about what the High Wills actually are. Did a three-faced, disembodied being crying gold come into your mind at all?
Destruyendo nuestra carne que una
Yes!
fue palabra.
This is what I speculated when we fought that boss that came out of the mirror. This is exactly what I thought it would be, actually, I believe. Huh.
He's not wrong.
But where's the dog controlling them?
You're so right! He's gotta cut off their scalps and reveal a trio of hamsters! Alvin, Simon, and Theodore!
Yeah, they're the three Wills.
I fucking can't believe that, actually! That I was right about that! That these things are human, sort of? God! Why, God?
Well, I mean, they're right there. You can ask them yourself.
Okay, but look at these assholes three. Would they answer my questions?
Not while they're monologuing.
Look at them! They're condemning us right now! They're condemning us right now for saving this world! This is unbelievable! I knew they would be pricks! I even said they would be pricks! They don't have necks to cut!
La mayor de las blasfemias.
It was worth it!
Ultra Team Combo finish! KO.
Flawless victory. Heaven or hell? Let's rock?
Did we just kill God?
Yeah! We did! Yeah, we killed God!
Oh, hey, it's the Twisted One. Good job, buddy. I always believed in you.
Bye,
Have this
Jesus!
commemorative t-shirt. John Blasphemous in the corner there was just astounded at the fact that he's even still alive after all this.
Well, about that.
Yeah. Even he couldn't believe it and just dropped dead. Hey, you know what's kind of ironic about this? In the end, they're gonna idolize us as a saint, despite all our sins.
So, one last surprise I didn't know about. Turns out not only can you pause the credits, you could go backwards.
Oh my god.
This is me finding out that for the first time.
One last Easter egg is that when you run across, like, Rodrigo Butts in the credits, you can scroll back up and be like, yeah, Rodrigo Butts!
So now you finally get to see the credits uncensored. The things that I censored were, well, originally I censored Miriam's voice actress, her new one. There was stuff for the High Wills, and I think like Gabrielle and a couple other things on the first playthrough. Also, that giant block of text that I censored in the middle of the credits, it was thanks to 505 Games. And what's the name of Iga's studio? Thanking them for allowing them to include Bloodstained DLC.
Thank you, Iga-san. Thank you, Igavania, for making the genre that made this game possible to be fun. Imagine if there were no Metroid and no Castlevania. Imagine if those games did not exist. This game itself, conceptually, it wouldn't be the same. It would not have been fun to play this 3 times if we couldn't go wherever we wanted to and do it in any order. Like,
true.
The way that you just showed it off is why these games are awesome and this genre rules. It's because it's like this was fun as hell for all 23 videos of this, even though I wasn't the one playing it.
And not only to be able to do it in any order, but to have sometimes dire ramifications to doing them in different orders that still don't block you out of the end game.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I remember still from the one time I played the 5 minutes of it that I spoke about when I first was a part of this LP. I fucked up that side quest on the mountain by going there and then leaving. And I was like, no! I ruined it forever! And it's like, well, you didn't. You can still get our reward. It's just, maybe next time stick to the area that you joined to. Okay.
Yeah,
lesson learned.
By the time this video goes up, probably the DLC for Blasphemous 2 will come out, which also much like the DLC for Blasphemous 1 also includes like a new ending, a new game plus, a couple of extra areas. Basically it's a repeat of what they did for the first big batch of free updates for Blasphemous 1.
It's very cool. Are you going to let's play that game? Do you
No.
have plans?
I am absolutely going to recommend it. You should play Blasphemous 2. That being said, I am kind of burnt out on big open-ended games for the moment. I've already started work on my next Let's Play. That's for Tomb Raider Legend, which is very short and very linear.
Yeah, and it's also awesome.
It is. But
It's also a very good game.
More importantly, it's a game you only need to play once, and one where you're never really in any doubt as to where to go or what to do.
Yo, I couldn't believe the part where Lara had to escort that blind guy across the chasm, and she was like, I am doing all of this for a toe. That toe belongs in a museum. I also would recommend that you play Blasphemous 2 if you... That's the thing, is a lot of folks have picked up the game after watching content like this, because this is a pretty divisive thing where it's like, hang on a minute. Like, I saw comments that said, hang on a minute, this has more depth than just being like a medieval violence simulator. Yeah, it does. It's got a lot more depth than that, and pretty immediate too. But looking at screenshots, all you're gonna see is pretty sweet brutalist pixel art. It's actually watching this play out that helped me recognize and realize just how much they cared about this story and the allegory that it is. Fucking fantastic of a metaphor it is.
And gameplay wise, like Blasphemous 2 is also a pretty big improvement. The combat's a lot better. There are more options. The major gimmick is that you get your choice between 3 different weapons right at the start. You have to pick one, and then you find the other 2 in other areas naturally over the course of gameplay.
Interesting. That's interesting, because we've been talking about how fun it is to like learn to master one weapon over the course of this, but like having there be just a couple of choices is also good, because you still spend most of it learning that one that you pick.
Yeah, they also kind of, because Mea Culpa was destroyed, these are all brand new weapons, and some of them separately have properties of the Mea Culpa that used to be one weapon. Like I forget which one it is, but one of the weapons is the only one where you can use the parry and riposte as opposed to just blocking outright. And it's a lot more, it's more automatic. If you're into seeing damage numbers above enemies' heads, that's on by default, although you could turn it off.
For the immersive experience,
Yeah.
so that like you can the numbers being on is the immersive experience, so that you can see just the weight of the sins you're draining from them with each hit.
Yeah, and each of those 3 weapons also have like a specific mechanic attached to them that helps with navigation. Like I think one can break walls, another allows you to teleport between mirrors. Like it's been a while since I've played it. Maybe I'll come back to it once the DLC comes out.
Well, anyway, I really like this game. I've been raving about the religion and metaphor and allegory in it since the beginning. You guys when all is said and done, what do you guys think of it? You think it's that strong of a theme?
I think it's a pretty strong theme. I think it is hauntingly beautiful. Like really
Absolutely agree
ridiculous
there.
amounts of care we're
Oh
putting
hey,
into this.
Obsidian Entertainment is in the credits. I wonder if that was just someone who chose that name as a Kickstarter backer, or if it was the actual company.
That'd be
They
interesting
donated
to find
$1.
out. Yeah.
I'm with you though. I agree with your assessment that it's a beautiful game, because it does things with pixel art that you couldn't do with high fidelity graphics, not nearly as effectively. I am mind boggled that the High Wills were just a bunch of faces, because that would look like fucking shit in 3D. God, that would look like shit if it weren't pixel art. In like any representation that we can do with modern graphics, that would look so bad. And it would have to be some kind of drawn art. And so, that's where this game, pixel artizing its hand-drawn concept art, really shines. With giant sprites like that, it's a gorgeous thing. It's so good.
So
I haven't seen pixel art vignettes that good since LucasArts games. And it's
Gotta
so
be.
good that someone's still doing them.
It's gotta be up there with like actual Castlevania and with
Yeah.
games like I don't know Chrono Trigger, games that they just have really good pixel art to the point where you'd think that's gotta be 3D.
So there is
But it's
one
not.
there is one loose end here, which is, I mean, we killed the High Wills, but what happened to the miracle itself?
The characters are all holding hands and singing gospel.
Oh, good. We end on 2001's Space Baby, all grown up.
Greetings. My name is Atlas and I despise religion. Have you heard of libertarianism?
Oh no.
Buy crypto.
The only way the world could get worse for Custodia. No!
Except knowing this world, you literally have to mine the crypto, and it's actually asbestos.
Does
And
this
it-
mean the
oh,
aspects
God.
are NFTs?
You know what? I've collected them all now. We've collected them all, so no one else can have them.
So this is my
Thank you,
my
penitent
final
one.
save file, which again, as I mentioned before, it's actually from just before the end fight. And it gets updated to reflect the second or the third full playthrough. So you saw it was 71 hours. That's across all 3 playthroughs. That was not just the 3rd playthrough, thankfully.
Oh my god.
Thank you for your service.
That's
So,
dedication.
Tone-wise, what? Because I know that there was internal controversy among the fandom for this game as to whether a JRPG style ending where you literally meet God and then kill them fits the more fatalistic vibe of the rest of the game.
I don't know. I'm glad that it has that ending, because I don't personally like when games have only fatalistic endings. I like when there is at least something you can do, and it is maybe a little extreme to cut out God's eyes, but like, given what we saw, I feel like they really amped up the stakes to the point where they kind of deserve to have a sharp stick poked in their eye.
Yeah. It's
How about
very
2?
much. Yeah, true. It's very much a shattering of faith ending.
Well, as we saw in that in that post-credits scene, it only took us until the very, very end of this Let's Play, heavily influenced by Christianity and Catholicism in particular. But we do seem to have a Jesus figure of some sort, or perhaps
Yes.
Antichrist, or maybe a bit of both.
It's pretty awesome that Jesus came down off the cross to give us a thumbs up. I didn't even realize when that was happening how fucking cool it is. Imagine if, like, you aced a test that was really hard. You passed the bar exam, and you go home to do your nightly prayer, and Jesus is just like,
Pat on the back, buddy.
he knocks on your door, and literally he throws you his jersey like the end of a sports game. Oh, man. Like, that, you're right, that I can see where there's a controversy where people would think that's too silly. I don't think it's too silly. I think that if you've played through the game 2 or 3 times and you have taken the prompt to lock yourself into the Final Fantasy ending, you are totally on board for it. You won't do that by accident.
Yeah, without going into too much detail, the mysterious figure we saw inside the heart is a major character in Blasphemous 2. And that's all I'll say, because you definitely should play that game, especially with, depending on how this video is timed, the DLC is probably already out or will be out in a few days. You know, get it while the new content is hot, I say.
Go pick it up. Get both games. God knows they will run a package deal on Steam.
And now that we have shown people essentially the game inside and out, they can play it their own way, basically. You know how every playthrough you went a different path and a different consternation. I don't know your aspect at the start. Now the players themselves are free to do that, and knowing what the results of everything will be. It's like the most comprehensive LP of Blasphemous I've seen on the internet.
And there are still some things I haven't shown off. There's alternate ways you could get certain side quest items. There's an entire game mode called what's it? It has sorrow in the name. It's the boss rush.
Doki Literature Chapel.
Yeah, it is the Game Boy Advance Castlevania boss rush. That is based on one file, and there's extra achievements for doing it without taking damage, which God.
Oh my god. No.
But
I don't know how you do that in this game. That's nuts.
Give
me a dodge roll, please.
I'm realizing now that there was also there's also a pretty fantastic April Fool's joke, which came out the April after this game released, where the Game Kitchen announced a new game mode called Screaming Sinners, which replaced every surface in the game with instant kill spikes.
Oh.
Take damage to save time.
Yeah,
Take damage to save time.
And this was early. Yeah, this was like very early on in the game's development, where the hitboxes on those spikes were even worse than they are now. So yeah, it was they knew what they were doing. It was a very nice, a very cute gag.
They obviously played I Wanna Be the Guy before they started developing Blasphemous. And they were like, oh, so you want to be the penitent one, huh? Okay, but what if you could play this game with a pink bow on top of the pyramid? What if it was just atop your head and bobbled when you walked?
Well, I think the Alcazar of Grief is probably the closest we'll get to that.
That's true. Having adorable cherubs following you around like you yourself are a Renaissance painting is some damn good stuff.
All right, well,
I adored that game. I really did. I appreciate being brought back for the finale, gents, because I am blown away by the consistent quality of this game up till the very end of it. A lot of video games fall off when you get to like the true end, or like the stuff that most players won't do or see. Nope. This game, they were wholehearted all the way through, and this shit was so like well researched and presented that I was able to see directly into the heart of the developers.
Yeah, I'm having trouble.
So way to go, guys.
I'm having some trouble recording the last 2 levels of Tomb Raider Legend now, just because of how completely hard it falls off in quality towards those last 2 levels.
Well, once Lara meets the High Wills and they ground the game in reality, it's all bets are off. But see, my favorite part of the Tomb Raider games is when you shoot like Ganesh in the face. Like, I really like when you do that because they make it like a weird roller coaster thrill ride of things that would otherwise be heinously offensive if they weren't in a video game. Yeah, I'll just blast that leopard with a hunting rifle. It's probably a demon. And so too do you in this game. I like that this game has that sort of a theme to it. Most video games make you a goody two-shoes, where even if you play the evil path, people will still talk to you. In this game, they from the outset say, like, you are going to be the most guilty of sinners by the end of this. You won't float in water anymore. You will be weighed down so much by the end.
Hey.
We lost our buoyancy. We sure did. Everything we did was, like, attempting to deliver some kind of solace to people in misery. This is one of the most miserable games ever, and I loved it. It still felt so hopeful.
Yeah, the penitent one becomes the scapegoat that I mentioned earlier.
True.
The penitent one is taking on the physical and emotional burden of everyone else's fuck ups.
Yeah, and in the end, I suppose I'll point to that wonderful post in the thread that was explaining a similar concept. The idea that I was wrong when I was talking about how we were being shit on by that boss. I was looking at it from the wrong perspective when I said that we were trying to, deliver penance to guilty individuals. Not quite our goal in this game in the end.
And rather than
more of a collection, like a Banjo-Kazooie style adventure, where the jiggies that we are assembling help us confront Grunty, the godly witch.
Well, I mean, Blasphemous and Banjo-Kazooie both start with a B. You might be onto something there.
Yes. Yeah.
I will see you all in Blasphemous 2.